up, you guys? It's Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, we're going to be taking a look at the 4 new augments that have been released in Update 20.7.0. So first off, we have Excalibur's Chromatic Blade, which is available for 25,000 standing once you reach rank 5 with either Steel Meridian or the Arbiters of Hexus. Alright, so Chromatic Blade causes Exalted Blade's base damage to change based on the energy color that is attached to Excalibur himself. So make sure that's Excalibur, not your actual weapon itself, and it increases your status chance by 50%. This is actually pretty freaking cool. So this is just the temp build that I'm working with right now. I'll probably make, if it warrants it, I'll go ahead and make like a whole separate like video on the build and whatnot, but I wanted to show you the build that I actually had on the Scanner Prime. But before we do that, let's take a look at this. So as you can see, just like Chroma, he actually has a little energy. Oh, you can't see it because I'm, well, I can't show it to you because it's being blocked off. But you know how Chroma has that little elemental icon next to his energy color? Yeah, that's what's showing up right now when you go look at your Excalibur customization. So it'll actually tell you what color you have currently equipped. Now this is one of the things that I wanted to test out and I wanted to kind of show you guys on camera real quick, is I've actually, on my Skana, I've tossed on just a Toxin base mod. So I've actually not gone and fiddled around with any other elements. So the Skana itself is just Toxin, alright? So that means that if Excalibur's base type is electricity, the Toxin and the electricity should merge together and make corrosive, which I've already tested this, already know it's a true thing, but you know, you got to do everything on camera for the YouTubes because, I don't know, people believe no one these days. People believe no one, so I'm like, alright, I might as well. So let's go ahead and toss a couple of these on there. Let's pump them up to like level 50 or something so they don't die instantly. But as you'll be able to see right here, let's go ahead and toss Exalted Blade on. Oh, they're all dead. Let's try that one more time. Why that happens sometimes, I do not understand, but it's fine. We're back. We're back. So as you can see right here, it is corrosive, 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 corrosive. Which is, I have to say, pretty fucking awesome. Like, if you think about this, well, this might not look too handy as we speak. Number one, you're getting armor stripping, which is absolutely fantastic. You can get the stealth multiplier damage off of that. So not only are you whittling down these enemies, let's actually try something a little bit harder. Let's go into Corrupted Bombard. Now, for those of you guys who don't know why I use specifically Corrupted Bombards on this, it's mainly because of the fact... Oh, no. Okay, that's right. I thought I was going to select 150 Bombards. But no, the main reason that I do that is because there is no elemental bonus that you're getting for it. So it's just purely up against armor whatsoever. So as you can see, we have stripped that thing's armor to no avail. Of course, we did use Radial Blind in conjunction with it to get the 4 times damage multiplier. But against a 150 Bombard, that is actually pretty staggeringly good. I mean, all we needed was one quick blind, and then we can just go at it real fast. And boom, he's dead. I did use a finisher, so let's try that one more time without a finisher, just so that we can, it's just, you get so close, and then all of a sudden you're like in his face, and then, you know, it's just bad. Well, it's not bad, it's good, but it's too good. We don't want it to be too good. We want to see how it is. Why did you fall down on the ground? Why is that a thing? Why did you fall down? But as you can see, that shred him pretty freaking quickly, and that is, damn awesome. Now, the one thing that I do want to put into your brains real fast is this is fantastic if you think about it in such a way. If your team, let's say, is using 4 corrosive projections, you can change your Exalted Blade's base energy type or base elemental type into viral. So now you have a pretty much almost 100% chance to proc viral. You're going to be striking against Grineer armor. You're going to be striking against Grineer flesh 100% of the time. So that means that you're going to get the bonus from the viral onto the flesh. You're also going to get the procs from the viral because you've got the boost. You got the boost from the mod to give you that extra status pump. Or, think about it this way, you could also mod this towards pure Toxin to completely bypass Corpus Shielding, and you get the status to boot. So, I mean, it's all good. I'm going to play around with this and see exactly how it stacks up in, like, later levels, and, you know, I'll come back and I'll let you know if I see something good. But so far, I think this is actually pretty fucking sick. Next up, we've got Chroma's Effigy, which is available for 25,000 standing once you've reached rank 5 with either the Parent Sequence or Cephalon Suda. Alright, so Guided Effigy is actually pretty hilarious, and it looks pretty badass when it's in motion. I won't say that it's the most effective thing on the block, but basically what happens is, after you cast Effigy, you can kind of hold down the button, and then you'll see this little indicator on the ground appear where you're gonna kind of force your effigy to go in. And then all of a sudden your effigy just fucking races to that spot. It deals 2,000 points of damage to all enemies within its path, and then, or 2,000 points of damage per second. It's really too fast to deal that much damage per second. It just fucking zips. And then once it gets to its final destination, it lets out a roar that stuns enemies. I want to show this to you without enemies first because I just think it looks absolutely awesome. One of the things that I did notice with this though that I do kind of want to point out and put out into the universe is mainly the fact that if your effigy is in the middle of an animation, what ends up happening is, look at how fast he like zips through, is if he's in the middle of an animation, sometimes that animation gets cut off. Look at that! It just looks so cool. I kind of absolutely love it. It doesn't seem to cost any more energy whatsoever. I just think it just zips around and, you know, does that. It's nice because one of the big things with Effigy is the fact that it kind of is a little too stationary, and a lot of people that say, you know, that play Warframe, they're like, listen, Warframe is highly mobile, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. And, you know, having a stationary ability is just a little crap. Now I have turned down the enemy difficulty here just to kind of show it to you. Let's put him here. Let's see what happens here. And I can just cast him over there. And Effigy. There you go. See, here's the thing. Let's race through. And as you can see, because he's in the middle of an animation, he actually does not race through all that much. Right? And that's kind of one of the downsides of this ability. Sometimes you may have to recast it. Is if he's in the middle of a cast, like a breath, he either will ignore the command or will just not, you know, will just not move. It really depends. But as you can see right there, the damage doesn't really seem all too major. This is, remember, we have to remember this is a level 50. So it's not like, you know, it's not like these are the toughest enemies on the block. However, I do have to say, let him hit me just a little bit so I can recast this. So the actual ability, let's see, right there, move. Just, if anything, it just looks cool. If anything, it just looks cool and you get a stun in and your day feels better. Is this something that I would use? I don't 100% know yet. I think I might play with it a little bit more. I've got a couple weapons that I'm leveling up for kind of, I don't know, for funsies. We'll talk about that in the future. But right now, I kind of feel like this is really entertaining, but I don't necessarily see this as like being a part of the meta. Entertaining is really important though. So I mean, if you really just want to make a build where you legitimately just have Chroma's Effigy zipping around, I say why not? Enjoy yourself. Next up is Mag's Magnetized Discharge, which is available for 25,000 standing once you reach rank 5 with either the parent sequence or New Loka. Alright, so Magnetic Discharge is kind of cool, but kind of finicky to use at the same time. This basically allows you to manually detonate Magnetize when you cast it on Magnetize. This is a weird thing. And then when it detonates, you get a 50% chance to disarm enemies, which is fantastic. But it's a little finicky to use, and let's go ahead and kind of like take a look at how that works. So I'm gonna go ahead and spawn a couple extra more, which is basically couple more. And I'm gonna show you what kind of my gripes about this are. And I don't know if it's just me being finicky, but let me just put it like this. So you can see we've cast it, right? And all of the enemies are going into the little semicircle area. Usually I like to cast 2 instances of Magnetize, but because of this ability, what ends up happening is if anything, like, okay, so I'm gonna cast Magnetize on this thing. It's really hard for me to explain this, I have to show this to you. So, as you can see here, I'm not even pointing at the Magnetized bubble, but you can basically close the bubble just by pointing at it. So basically means that even though I'm aiming at that enemy, what it does instead is it closes that Magnetized bubble. So even though I wanna like cast it on that enemy, because of the fact that I'm casting it at the bubble, well, he was out of the bubble, okay? That's not fair. That's not fair. I'm just saying. let me kill these people here. But basically what happens is you have to make sure that you cast it out on enemies outside of the bubble. Otherwise, like let's see, I'm gonna try to cast it on that guy right here, right? Instead, it'll detonate the bubble itself, because it targets the bubble, not necessarily the enemy. So as you can see, I'm not targeting anyone. I'm just targeting the bubble itself. So if something is within the bubble, oh, I don't have enough energy. If something is within the bubble, basically what ends up happening is because of the fact that they are within the bubble, you can't separately, you know, cast this on enemies that are in there. So you can't have multiple instances of bubbles like stacked on top of each other, because if you try to do that, what'll end up happening is you'll end up detonating one, which is not necessarily what you want, because I like to use Magnetized as almost like a defensive, what's the word I want to use? Like a defensive cover. And because of the fact that you can't recast it, it gets really, really finicky, and it kind of reduces the amount of cover you can kind of maintain. So as you can see here, I'm casting it there, but because everything's in the middle, and even if I try to cast it on something else that is clearly not, you know, the thing that's casted on, I have to wait till enemies run out of the bubble in order to cast another individual bubble, right? And I don't know, like, for me, gameplay-wise, that's a little bit finicky, and I'm not super fond of it, but I mean, that is what that is. I mean, that's just the way it kind of works. So, let's see. There you go. It just basically closes them. But look, if you look at it, though, the one thing that I do have to say about it is the disarming effect does seem to work fairly well. You know, it's a good effect. It does what it does, and it kind of does give you a little bit more protection, because it makes enemies unable to shoot at you. But then again, at the same time, it's a little bit counterintuitive, because it makes it so that enemies can't shoot at themselves in the bubble. I don't know. This is one of those, I'm not sure if this is a thing that I love. Like, I like Magnetized the way it is already. I don't feel like I necessarily need anything like this more to do it, you know? I feel like some of the design of it is a little bit counterintuitive, but that's just my 2 cents. So, I don't know. If you disagree, let me know why you disagree in the comments below, and tell me that I'm insanely wrong and that everybody on Reddit was right about me being a terrible human being. And last of all, we're going to take a look at Volt's Transistor Shield, which is available for 25,000 standing once you've reached rank 5 with the Arbiters of Hexus or the Red Veil. Alright, so Transistor Shield, I literally just tried out a second ago and I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. I like this one a lot. So basically what happens is allies can now pick up your electric shield, which is kind of like, meh, that's great. But what happens is any damage absorbed by the shield also is converted into your passive, which is your static discharge thing. You know the little thing as you run around, like you build up that little meter? It fills that meter up so you get bonus damage. So basically, anything your shields absorb will be converted into bonus damage for you. Now here's the thing. Allies being able to pick up your shields, fucking great, fantastic, whatever, I don't really care. Like, you know, if you're running solo, that really doesn't do jack shit for you. So part of me was like, alright, well, does this work for yourself? And I was like, okay, let's test this out. And what I discovered is you don't even have to have your shield equipped. You don't even have to have your shield equipped in order for it to store up the damage. Like, I thought that you would have to pick it up, and then you would get the damage bonus from it. But no, you don't even need to pick it up to have the damage bonus for it. You just basically, you can just set it down, and you'll always have the damage bonus. Come on, just shoot at it. Look, I didn't even have to move. This thing is pretty cool. And I mean, it doesn't, you know, of course it doesn't like up the amount of damage, you know, like power strength doesn't seem to affect the amount of damage, that, you know, you can store up. You're still capped at that 1,000 points of electricity damage. But I mean, it's still a bonus, and I still think that's pretty good. And the fact that you can give it to your allies, and your allies can play around with it and, you know, have their own movable cover and whatnot, does kind of add a little bit of fun to the ability. However, what it all boils down to is the fact that you do get that 1,000 point electricity damage bonus. Not gonna say it's the best in the world, not gonna say that, but I'm gonna say that it was better than I thought it was gonna be. So good job, Volts. Again, you make me hate you slightly less. I still hate him. Anyway, that about does it for this episode of the Daily Grind, where we go ahead and take a look at all of the augments. Let me know which augment seems the coolest to you. I'm definitely really feeling the chromatic blade for Exalted Blade. That was a really, really cool way to do it. Had never thought that that was the way that they were going to do it. Chroma's Effigy seemed really, really interesting too. Guided Effigy, I don't know how often I'm going to use it, but let me know if you are. And Mag and Volt, just put all your feels down in the comments below. Aside from that, I'm going to leave you here. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye! And let me know if there's one specific one you want me to cover next. I'm probably going to be doing the sword one. The sword, you know what I'm talking about. Bye!